If a hurt being told you secrets about Jesus that no religion on earth has ever shared, what would you do? Things you need to know about healing, miracles, and where we really come from in the universe that could change everything you think you know. There is a huge revelation I am about to share with you that will give you chills. To make sure you don't miss any more stories like this one, please subscribe to Stories from Beyond here. Get ready for a discovery that will make you question everything you thought you knew about our spiritual history. If you believe in this mission, please show your support by giving this video a like. Yes, you are ready for this truth. This helps us share these stories of hope with more people who are looking for answers. In New Mexico's Socorro County, 3:42 a.m. on August 17, 1996. Zara Martinez saw the lights for the first time as she was driving home from a 12-hour shift as a paramedic. They were just out of her line of sight. She first thought she was just too tired. After 22 years of taking care of medical emergencies in New Mexico, she knew that being tired could make the mind do strange things. "I just need a good night's sleep," she said in a low voice, blinking quickly to clear her vision. The lights were still on, though. Zara parked her old Ford pickup on the side of the empty country road and looked out the window. Luminous shapes were moving in the sky at night in ways that she was sure were not in her tired mind. They pulsed in a way that was strange and almost alive, like they were alive. Now fully awake, she whispered, "What in the world is that?" The lights moved in ways that didn't make sense for flight, as far as she knew. They weren't helicopters because they were too quiet and quick to be them. They were not commercial planes because they were flying too fast and weirdly. They were not stars or planets at all. It was clear that they were moving with intelligence and purpose. Zara was mesmerized as she watched the glowing shapes move across the desert sky full of stars. Their movements were mesmerizing. It was almost like they were trying to talk to each other through a celestial dance. Then, one of the bigger lights began to flicker. It looked like there was nothing wrong at first, but soon it became clear that something was off. It looked like the light was fighting some kind of system failure because it pulsed and surged in different ways. Zara felt her training as a paramedic grow. It was clear that whatever that thing was in trouble. The dying light started to go down. The fall wasn't out of control. Instead, it looked like it was desperately trying to stay in control. Zara could tell that the person or thing that was flying it was trying to keep it from crashing. She whispered, "My God, it's going to crash," as she watched the light disappear behind a rocky ridge about 2 miles away. Her training as a doctor took over right away. If there was an airplane in an emergency, there might be people still alive who needed help right away. There was no sound on Zara's portable radio when she went to report it. She did it again. Without a doubt, no signal. She was on this road by herself and couldn't talk to anyone, but she knew that the next few minutes could be very important if there were crash survivors. Zara didn't have a cell phone in 1996 because they were still pretty rare. She whispered, "Shoot," and looked where the light had gone out. Zara chose something that will change her life for good. She didn't want to drive to the closest town to get help, so she chose to look for hurt people herself. In her truck, she always had a full first aid kit. She might have been the only thing that kept the person in that craft alive. She left the main road and drove over rough terrain to get to the place where she saw the light go out. It took her almost 20 minutes of careful driving on dirt trails to find something that blew her away. There was no bent metal, no fuel on the ground, and no rough impact marks like you'd see in a plane crash. Instead, Zara found a circle where the plants had been bent outward in a pattern that was unlike anything she had seen in 22 years of assisting people in accidents. She whispered, "What kind of accident does this?" as she carefully walked around the edge. Then her flashlight hit a figure lying still in the middle of this circle. Sarah's heart was racing. It was about 6 feet tall, but there was something odd about it. It was built in a very delicate, almost fragile way. Even in the beam of her flashlight, the skin looked different in a way she couldn't put her finger on. And the face had features that were kind of human, but the proportions were off. Zara said in a whisper, "This can't be real." She was confused, but her training got her through it. There was no difference between what hurt someone and what hurt them. As she got closer, she checked for injuries, breathing problems, and vital signs. The being, it was clear at this point that it wasn't a normal person, was asleep but still alive. Its wounds looked bad, but they might not be fatal. Something strange happened when she gently felt the creature's pulse to make sure it was alive. It opened its eyes. They were big, had expressive faces, and had a wisdom that seemed very old and beyond human comprehension. Then Sarah heard a clear, soft voice in her head. The voice's lips did not move. "Do not be afraid of me. I'm hurt and I need your help. I need to tell you some important things. What you don't know about your species will change everything you think you know about the world." Sarah almost jumped back when she heard a voice that came from another world. But something in that voice in her head, a real gentleness and sense of urgency, made her feel better. You're talking to me in my head," she asked out loud, her voice shaking. The voice replied with compassion and patience. "This is how we naturally talk to each other. I know it might seem strange to your species. I'm Zara, and I'm from a very far away place. My ship sank, and I need help to get better. But what's more important is that you need to know the truth about figures that are holy to your people. Things that people have forgotten for a very long time." Sarah felt a chill go down her spine. Jesus came to mind right away, but she couldn't explain why. The way the person said sacred figures hurt her. The question, what kind of truths, made her more interested than scared. What she heard next would forever change how she thought about religion, spirituality, and the real history of people. About the person you call Jesus of Nazareth. About what kind of person he really was, where he came from, and why his message of love was so much stronger and more literal than your species ever thought. Share your faith by writing, "I am ready for the cosmic truth," if you think God's plan is bigger than we've been taught and connects the heavens and the earth. Sarah Martinez did not think it was easy to believe in things that could not be explained. She came from a traditional Catholic family in Albuquerque and had a strong, useful faith as a child. In the past, she always liked scientific explanations better than blindly accepting mysteries. Sarah was known as one of the best and most reliable paramedics in Socorro County. She was 43 years old at the time. At times when things got tough, she was known for keeping her cool and showing real compassion. She became a paramedic when she was 21 years old, after seeing a bad car accident. Sarah was the first person to arrive. She helped 2 badly hurt people stay stable until help arrived, using only the basic first aid skills she had learned as a Red Cross volunteer. After a while, the new doctor told her she had saved at least 1 life. "This is something you were born to do," Dr. Rodriguez had told her. Ever thought about a career in emergency medicine? That made Sarah's life different. She enrolled in the University of New Mexico's paramedic program and discovered that she not only had the technical skills, but also an almost supernatural intuition for evaluating situations and making important decisions. During her 22-year career, Zara had built up a strange reputation. Her co-workers noticed that she often knew things about her patients that weren't obvious, and that the decisions she made about their care were always perfect, even if they went against the rules. "Zara has a sixth sense," said the medical director of the hospital, Dr. Patricia Williams, over and over again. "She can look at a patient and see problems our best equipment sometimes misses. It's like she can sense what's wrong." Zara's sharp intuition had saved many lives, but she always said it was just from experience and observation, not because she was born with it. There was a doubter in her that needed solid proof. Zara's personal life was full of broken relationships because of what she called priority incompatibility. Because she was so dedicated to her job, she often put social plans last, which made it hard to keep long-term partners. At age 43, she lived by herself in a small house her grandmother had given her in the mountains outside of Socorro. After a hard day, it gave her the peace she needed. Friends joked, "Zara is married to her job." But as a healer, she felt a deep sense of purpose that she couldn't find in any other marriage. Zara's Catholic childhood faith was deeply ingrained in her soul, but her job had given her a more universal view. She still believed in God and went to Mass on holidays. She discovered that all religions taught about love, compassion, and healing. "I believe God works through people who help other people," she'd add. "I don't care if you're Catholic, Protestant, Jewish, Muslim, or anything else. If you're healing suffering, you're doing God's work." But Zara did keep some parts of her life secret. Since she was a child, she had times when her perception grew in ways she couldn't explain. When there were very serious emergencies, she sometimes thought she could sense not only a patient's physical symptoms, but also their emotional state and even their spiritual needs. She told herself, "It's just feel." And she said, "I'm just reading subtle signs." But she knew in her heart that it wasn't always science. At times, she felt like she was being led by a wisdom that went beyond her training. Treatment choices would just pop into her mind completely clear. These times made her thankful and uneasy at the same time. Thankful because they made things better, but uneasy because they made her think scientifically. These gut feelings had been happening more often in the months leading up to the event. She wasn't sure if she was getting tired or just more sensitive. Last week, she had thought, maybe I need a vacation. Because Sarah Martinez was skeptical about science, but sensitive to her intuition, skilled at her job but spiritually open, she was ready for the most amazing night of her life. She had spent decades building up the exact personality she would need to deal with an encounter that would make her question everything she thought she knew about faith, medicine, and the real purpose of people like Jesus of Nazareth. Sarah's hardest choice was to take Zara to her home in the mountains, which is far away and alone. As part of her training, she had to take anyone who was seriously hurt to a hospital. But this situation had never happened before. How could she tell the ambulance crew that she had found something that wasn't a person in the desert? "My house is about 20 minutes from here," Sarah said out loud. She was still getting used to talking to herself and having her mind answer. "It's completely isolated. Can you move? Or do I need to carry you?" Zara replied telepathically, "I can walk with help." Her voice was full of thanks. "Your species is stronger than mine, but we heal faster when we get enough rest." Sarah helped Zara stand up and was amazed at how light the thing was. To help a tall child instead of an adult was like that. The trip to the house was strange and tense. Zara was quiet and seemed to be concentrating on staying awake. Sarah drove on roads she knew well, but the world looked different, like it was seen through a new lens. "This is really happening," she said in a low voice. "I have a being from another world in my car." Zara took a good look around her small adobe house when they got there. Zara made the comment, "You live alone in this remote place." It wasn't a question, it was to show that you understood. "I like the privacy," Sarah said, as she helped Zara get inside. "And after tonight, I think I'll appreciate it even more." Sarah put Zara down in the guest room and used her medicine to help her feel better. She didn't know if human medicine would work, so it was hard. But the being led her through telepathy. Your species and mine both respond to the same basic healing principles: cleanliness, rest, food, and most importantly, a good emotional environment. Sarah went back and forth between being interested in science and being scared for the first few hours. She was hiding an alien and giving it medical care without permission, which is likely against many laws. Sarah attempted to get a reading from a thermometer that displayed strange and unusual numbers. "You need to understand," she said. "This goes against everything I was trained for. I should be reporting this." Zara said in a soft voice, "If you did that, I would be taken to a facility and studied like a specimen. I would not be treated like a person. The important information I need to share with your species would be lost if I failed at my mission." This was the time. Why did Sarah ask, "What information?" Her voice was rough. "What did you mean about Jesus?" Zara closed her big, teary eyes for a moment, as if she were collecting her thoughts. "Sarah Martinez," she finally said, "your species doesn't know much about the real person you call Jesus of Nazareth. It seems like you only see him as a divine figure, but the truth is much stranger and more hopeful." Sarah's heart was racing. This really hit home for her, because she was raised Catholic. "What do you mean?" Zara sent this message with deep respect. Jesus was more than just a person. His race calls him a star seed, which means a highly evolved soul who chose to be born on your planet. In order to hasten the spiritual evolution of your species, he arrived as part of a coordinated mission. Sarah felt like the ground gave way under her. "You're saying Jesus was an alien?" Zara patiently said. "Not exactly. The consciousness that made him up had grown beyond the limits of any one planet. In order to aid in spiritual growth, souls like Jesus can choose to incarnate on any world." Over the next few hours, Zara shared information that made Sarah question everything she thought she knew. Zara said, "My culture has detailed records of Jesus' work on your world. We help advanced souls on missions like his by being there for them from afar. During his whole life on Earth, Jesus was in regular contact with our consciousness networks. Sarah was having a hard time with this." "You're saying Jesus talked to aliens?" Zara elaborated by saying that Jesus spoke with evolved consciousnesses that go beyond the limits of our planet. He frequently had direct communication sessions with us, which you interpret as his prayers and meditations. He was getting guidance on how to best aid in the spiritual growth of humanity. The most shocking revelation came when Zara talked about how Jesus' miracles really worked. Zara sent the message that what you call miracles were not supernatural events that broke natural laws. Through his expanded consciousness, Jesus learned how to use these advanced spiritual technologies, the healings, the food that grew, and even the resurrection. Each of these skills can be learned by any being with enough consciousness development. Sarah's whole view of the world was changing. "You're saying anyone could do what Jesus did?" "Not anyone right away," Zara replied, "but eventually, anyone who grows spiritually enough." This was the real message Jesus gave. He was an example of the potential that exists within all human consciousness, not because he was special and impossible to reach. That night, Sarah realized that this was just the start of revelations that would change how she thought about her faith, her life, and the real point of being alive. As Sarah took care of Zara for the next 3 days, the being told the paramedic things that changed how she thought about Jesus, Christianity, and the purpose of life. Every new thing she learned was more amazing than the last. She saw a bigger and brighter reality than she had ever imagined. "Sarah, Zara talked to you on the second morning. It's important for you to know that Jesus' mission wasn't a one-time thing. He was a component of a much bigger plan that my civilization and other evolved consciousnesses have been running for thousands of years. We do this to help the spiritual growth of young species." Sarah sat next to the bed. She had been thinking all night, but had not slept. "What kind of program?" Zara said. "We call it the Star Seed Project. Highly evolved souls choose to incarnate on planets all over the galaxy at important junctures in the development of civilizations. They give us ideas and skills that help our spiritual growth go faster as a group. Christ was one of many star seeds that were sent to Earth," Sarah learned. People who were looked up to as prophets, saints, or great spiritual leaders were often advanced souls in the same program. Buddha, Krishna, and some prophets you know from different faiths. Zara put it up. All of them were aware that they were part of missions to improve the potential of your species. Each one brought spiritual knowledge that fit the time and place where they were born. But Zara told them that Jesus' job was unique. Jesus came at a very important time. Your species was building the kinds of communication and social networks that would allow spiritual teachings to spread all over the world. His goal was to provide practical demonstrations of the spiritual abilities that all people have the potential to develop, in addition to concepts about love and compassion. When Zara talked about what Jesus' miracles were really about, it was the most amazing revelation. Zara told them that what you call miracles were actually demonstrations of spiritual technologies. These ideas come from a deep understanding of how consciousness, energy, and matter are connected. Jesus learned the rules that let him directly change energetic systems with his clear, focused intention. Sarah tried to understand. "You're saying Jesus used alien technology?" Zara patiently explained that it wasn't technology like machines, technology for consciousness. There are certain ways to focus intention and energy that have real effects in the world. Jesus knew how to use what we now call the consciousness-matter interface. Zara explained that Jesus could heal diseases by seeing directly the energy patterns that caused health or illness through this interface. By moving molecules around in his mind, he could make more food. He could even bring back to life recently deceased bodies by using directed consciousness energy to power them up again. The most powerful spiritual technology in the universe, and the true center of his entire mission, was what we call healing through the love frequency, Zara continued. When Sarah saw the face, she was shocked. "What do you mean?" Zara said that Jesus wasn't just giving moral advice when he taught about love. He was giving very specific, technical instructions on how to use the most basic healing force that exists. Genuine, unconditional love produces particular energetic frequencies that automatically align biological systems with the patterns of perfect health. Zara said that this truth had been found by every advanced civilization in the universe. Love wasn't just an emotion, it was a real, energetic force that could change the way things were put together. Zara told them that this is why Jesus stressed, "Love one another" so much. He was showing people how to get to the universal medicine that can heal any condition, resolve any conflict, and raise anyone's consciousness to a higher level. Zara proved this over the next few days. When Sarah showed Zara genuine compassion and loving care, her wounds healed at an unimaginably fast rate. This amazed Sarah. Zara took longer to get better when Sarah was stressed or worried. Sarah's healing went a lot faster when she focused on unconditional love. Zara told them, "You are seeing the direct operation of the technology Jesus mastered." She showed them how a big wound healed in just a few hours. "My own healing systems are being set off by your loving presence." Jesus carried out his healing in exactly this manner. Sarah also learned that Jesus' job was to prepare the way for the eventual revelation of a person's cosmic origin. Zara said Jesus knew that people living at the time were not ready to fully understand the cosmic nature of his mission. In order to get people ready for bigger revelations in the future, he concentrated on the fundamental principles of love, compassion, and forgiveness. Zara said that the time we are in now is the start of that future. This is why beings like me are getting in touch with ready people like you, Zara sent. Now is the time to fully understand Jesus' teachings again and show that everyone has the ability to do what he did. Last but not least, Zara said that her civilization is still keeping an eye on Earth, looking for people like Sarah who could help connect this advanced knowledge with human understanding. Zara told them that the fact that you are naturally compassionate and open to healing shows that you have the capacity to channel the same energies Jesus did. It's part of my job to bring out these strengths in people like you and show you how to use them to help other people. Sarah knew that her life would never be the same again. She was no longer just a paramedic. She was also studying spiritual technologies that could change medicine and people's lives. Sarah quickly had doubts, even though there was a lot of strong evidence. Zara's revelations about Jesus had such far-reaching effects that her logical mind tried to come up with alternative explanations. On the third night, the first wave came. Sarah woke up at 3 a.m., shaking with fear. In the dark, she said, "My God, what am I doing? I brought a creature into my house, and I'm believing everything it tells me about Jesus. Maybe I'm having a nervous breakdown." She spent hours on it. Was it stress? Seeing things? Could the telepathy be a sign of having schizophrenia? The wounds might have accelerated healing because she thought they were something else. The second wave of doubt had to do with religion. As a Catholic, the idea that Jesus wasn't the only divine being, but was part of a bigger plan, shook her faith to its core. She was scared. If I believe this, does it mean that everything I was taught about Jesus is wrong? That the church and my whole Christian faith are based on lies? What if I'm being deceived? What if this is a test of faith and I'm failing by accepting these heresies? Fear in real life was the third wave. She was afraid that if anyone found out, she would lose her medical license and her job. People would think she was crazy, and the government could arrest her. Zara had also told her about the new powers she had. "I'm not a spiritual leader. I'm just a paramedic. I don't want to be responsible for spiritual technologies. This is more than I ever asked for." The deepest wave was the fourth one, which was unworthiness. It made her wonder if it was all a big lie made up by her ego. Why me? Why pick a 43-year-old paramedic in a small town in New Mexico to share secrets about Jesus? Surely there are theologians, scientists, or religious leaders who are more qualified. When Zara was at her worst, she really thought about getting help from a psychiatrist or turning Zara over to the police. The secrets and the worries about her sanity were making her feel too stressed to handle. Zara could feel Sarah's pain at that moment and decided to give a demonstration that would clear up all the questions. Sarah, Zara sent you this message one morning. I understand that this information goes against everything you believe. It's okay to have doubts, but the time has come for you to directly experience the truths I've told you. So faith alone is no longer enough. After the demonstration, Sarah's views on doubt, faith, and the true potential of human consciousness would never be the same again. The start was quiet. Zara met Sarah in the kitchen. She was moving with more energy now. Zara transmitted, "You have been doubting the information I share about Jesus and spiritual technology. Now I'll show you the principles Jesus mastered so that you can experience them for yourself." This is what Sarah asked. What kind of demonstration? To begin, Zara talked about how Jesus diagnosed illnesses. "Welcome. Like he did, let me check your body's energy." After some thought, Sarah agreed. Zara put her soft hands about 6 inches away from Sarah's body and felt her torso and limbs without touching them. "Zara told me that you have mild chronic inflammation in your right knee. When you were 16, you fell and hurt yourself. A small scar from an appendectomy you had when you were 28 shows up on your small intestine. Your neck and shoulders hurt from stress at work." Sarah's heart jumped. It was all true. The swelling in her knee was so small that she forgot about it, and the scar from the appendectomy was inside her body. How? How do you know that?" Zara told her. "I am reading the energy patterns in your body just like Jesus did." Any illness has a unique energy pattern that a tuned consciousness can read. A big part of his healing was this. But that was only the beginning. Zara asked Sarah to bring her a wilting fern that was sick in the house. Zara put her hands on the plant and said, "Now I'll show you how Jesus used healing energy." Sarah looked. Nothing at first. Then, one by one, the folded leaves started to stand up straight. A green color that was brighter came back. There were new shoots coming out of places that looked dead. "My God," Sarah whispered as she saw the change happen so quickly that it should have taken weeks. Zara said that directed consciousness energy can speed up the body's natural healing processes. Jesus treated people with the same rules, but he knew how to do it much better than I do. It was even more amazing in the third show. Zara asked for a bowl with some water and raw rice in it. Zara put her hands over the bowl and said, "Now I will show you the principle Jesus used when he multiplied the loaves and fishes." Sarah looked around, ready for a trick. Instead, she saw brand new rice grains appear in the water. She was amazed as she saw tiny grains appear out of nowhere and grow to full size. The bowl had at least 3 times as much rice in it when Zara was done. This is what Sarah asked. What kind of demonstration? To begin, Zara talked about how Jesus diagnosed illnesses. "Welcome. Like he did, let me check your body's energy." After some thought, Sarah agreed. Zara put her soft hands about 6 inches away from Sarah's body and felt her torso and limbs without touching them. "Zara told me that you have mild chronic inflammation in your right knee. When you were 16, You fell and hurt yourself. A small scar from an appendectomy you had when you were 28 shows up on your small intestine. Your neck and shoulders hurt from stress at work." Sarah's heart jumped. It was all true. The swelling in her knee was so small that she forgot about it, and the scar from the appendectomy was inside her body. How do you know that?" Zara told her. "I am reading the energy patterns in your body just like Jesus did. Any illness has a unique energy pattern that a tuned consciousness can read. A big part of his healing was this, but that was only the beginning." Zara asked Sarah to bring her a wilting fern that was sick in the house. Zara put her hands on the plant and said, "Now I'll show you how Jesus used healing energy." Sarah looked. Nothing at first. Then, one by one, the folded leaves started to stand up straight. A green color that was brighter came back. There were new shoots coming out of places that looked dead. "My God," Sarah whispered, as she saw the change happen so quickly that it should have taken weeks. Zara said that directed consciousness energy can speed up the body's natural healing processes. Jesus treated people with the same rules, but he knew how to do it much better than I do. It was even more amazing in the third show. Zara asked for a bowl with some water and raw rice in it. Zara put her hands over the bowl and said, "Now I will show you the principle Jesus used when he multiplied the loaves and fishes." Sarah looked around, ready for a trick. Instead, she saw brand new rice grains appear in the water. She was amazed as she saw tiny grains appear out of nowhere and grow to full size. The bowl had at least 3 times as much rice in it when Zara was done. Zara no longer had any doubts after Sarah told her when she got home. Irrefutable proof had been shown to her. If you have ever had a moment that felt like a direct sign from God, an answered prayer, or a healing that removed all of your doubts, share that feeling by saying, "I believe in the power of divine love." Your testimony could be the miracle someone else is praying to see. Zara sent, "Now you understand." Jesus did miracles, but he was just using consciousness technologies that everyone can learn. The point of his mission was to show how much potential all of your species has. It was time for Sarah to hear the deepest truths. She was free of doubts. Zara would share revelations 2 days later that would change Sarah's faith and her place in the universe. "Sarah," Zara began in her mind, in a solemn voice, "you are ready to learn the deeper truths about Jesus' mission and who he really is." The first revelation was about where the soul known as Jesus came from. Zara sent you Jesus because your consciousness had grown so much that it no longer needed physical experience. His soul had gone through many cycles of evolution in different worlds and dimensions. This is what we call a ascended master. It was a huge sacrifice for Jesus to come down from those higher states and be born on earth, Sarah learned. Zara said, "Imagine an adult willingly going back to the mind of a child to help other children learn." That's the kind of sacrifice Jesus made. The second message was about Jesus' support system in the universe. Zara told him that he was never by himself. A group of evolved consciousnesses from various civilizations who coordinate spiritual assistance for developing worlds is known as a cosmic council, and he was in constant telepathic contact with them. Sarah discovered that Jesus' prayers in the desert or on mountains were frequently these interdimensional conferences where he got guidance on how to make his advanced teachings more understandable for the people at the time. The third revelation was what the resurrection was really like. Zara sent what you call the resurrection, but it was really just a controlled show. Jesus proved that consciousness is separate from the body. People don't think of what he did as die. He took his mind out of his body and then put it back in to show that death is a lie. Zara could see from this demonstration that consciousness is eternal. The fourth revelation was what love really means. Zara explained that when Jesus said, "Love one another as I have loved you," he was actually giving clear, technical instructions. That's not all that love is, as he saw it. All of creation is in harmony because of this fundamental energetic frequency. This was something that all evolved societies knew. An energy field that helps healing and growth is created by conscious love. Zara explained that this is why his presence was so transformative. He always worked from this frequency. The fifth revelation was about the spiritual network that Jesus set up around the world. Based on his life and teachings, an energetic template was set up to help a mass awakening when people were ready. Zara told them, "You are living in the time Jesus predicted. Now is the time when the seeds he planted should finally grow." The sixth big secret had to do with Sarah's part. Zara said that Jesus taught the ideas, but now people like you are chosen to show how they can be used in real life. You will show how these spiritual technologies can be used with what we know now about science. Zara finally understood how her whole life, her job as a doctor, her faith, and her intuition had made her ready to be a bridge. There was news about the future in the seventh revelation. Zara made it clear that the next 20 years are very important. A certain number of people must wake up to the spiritual abilities Jesus showed. People will become part of a galactic civilization if this happens. If not, this chance will be lost, and the process will have to start all over again a long time from now. The last and most profound revelation was about what reality is. Zara sent that the whole universe is a school, with many levels that is meant to help consciousness grow. He was a visiting teacher from a higher grade who came to help the students who were getting ready to graduate. Yes, Zara got it. The real point of life was to grow consciousness, which means to learn love, wisdom, and compassion. Zara came to the conclusion that when Jesus said, "You are gods," he was revealing the literal truth about the potential that lies dormant inside each person. His job was to awaken people to their own latent divinity. After the revelations, Sarah Martinez was not the same as any other paramedic. People could change how they thought about Jesus, spirituality, and their true destiny, because she was guardian of cosmic truths. If you, like Sarah, feel like you have a higher calling to heal and serve in this great spiritual awakening, affirm your mission by saying, "I am here to be a light for God." Your declaration joins a chorus of other souls who are answering the same divine call. Sarah's life changed over the next few months. She slowly started to use what Zara had taught her in her medical work. The work she did before was scientific. She now knew that healing went much deeper than that. She thought, "I'm not just a paramedic, I do healing." She started to consciously use the love frequency. While checking someone's vital signs or putting on a bandage, she would focus her healing intention through her hands. The results were truly amazing. The people she treated got better, faster, had fewer problems, and often said they felt a strange sense of peace. Her co-workers saw her. "Sarah, I need to know more about how you do things," Dr. Stevens, the medical director, finally told her in private. "Your success rates are off the charts. Patients you bring in are in better condition than they should be." Sarah was ready for this. "Dr. Stevens, I've found that when I treat patients with genuine, focused healing intention, In addition to our standard protocols, it seems to activate their natural healing response. It's as if profound, compassionate care creates an environment that speeds up recovery. Interesting, was his answer. Is there a scientific basis? Emerging research in psychoneuroimmunology suggests positive emotional states can significantly influence healing, Zara said with care. I'm just applying those principles more consciously. Zara then taught her co-workers how to combine their technical skills with healing intention in workshops on compassionate medicine. She never talked about Zara or cosmic truths. The secret, she'd add, is to treat the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. When we do that, we activate the healing power they already possess. A revolution that was quiet began. Doctors and nurses who used her methods said they felt more motivated and like they were making a difference. One doctor made the comment, "Zara Martinez is reminding us that we are healers, not just technicians." And that makes all the difference. Zara also felt like her intuition got stronger. She had the ability to see energy blockages in people, which let her see problems before they happened. She also felt like she was part of the spiritual network Zara talked about. She felt like a team of spiritual consultants was guiding her and giving her answers that she hadn't learned in school. During the months after Zara was fully better and left, Zara's life kept going. The telepathic link she had started to receive guidance from other evolved consciousnesses, including the one who had been Jesus. It wasn't just Zara. The messages were always positive and praised her work. You are showing exactly what I meant. There was a communication that she recognized as Jesus's consciousness. You're demonstrating that every soul is born with the capacity for healing. Continue to demonstrate, through your actions, that love is the most potent medicine there is. Zara Martinez is now a well-known and respected figure in the field of integrative medicine, years after her first meeting. Her humble and effective way of healing has encouraged hundreds of other healers to do more. But what she really left behind was proof that regular people can use extraordinary skills when they realize that love is more than just an emotion. It is a real, energetic force for change. You are hearing this story at a time when these discoveries are making the world a different place. Zara's story shows that there is more to healing than just medicine. If you've ever felt like your loving presence could help someone, this is proof. The message is simple and revolutionary. Jesus' healing abilities were not unique to him. These people show what the human consciousness can do when it works from the frequency of unconditional love. If you help people who are suffering as a healer, nurse, doctor, therapist, or in any other way, this story may make you want to look into the deeper parts of your job again. Jesus taught practical principles that make up the spiritual technologies he taught. When you love someone deeply and without conditions, you are actually channeling the same power that Jesus used to work miracles. Truth and spirituality can both be respected, as shown by Zara's change. The advanced beings that helped Zara are still watching and helping to find people who are ready to carry on Jesus' healing teachings in the modern world as channels. It could mean that you are being called if you feel drawn to this work. As a distant figure, Jesus didn't come to be worshipped. He came to show the possibilities that lie dormant inside every soul. He was making a literal promise when he said, "These things that I do, you will also do, and even more." You live in a time of rediscovery. There is only one question. Are you ready to find out how you can be a channel for the kind of love that Jesus showed is the best medicine in the world? Have you ever been in a situation where your loving presence seemed to help someone get better? You just heard an amazing story about the real skills Jesus came to teach. Have you ever thought that you might be able to help people in ways that don't make sense? Leave your own stories of healing moments that you can't explain in the comments. You might find that you have more of this power than you think. If you really connected with this story about Jesus' cosmic revelations, make sure you subscribe to Stories from Beyond and set off the bell so you don't miss any other stories that explore the spiritual truths that are being found again in our time. And share this video with those who work in healing or who you think are ready to understand that Jesus' abilities are natural human potentials that are waiting to be developed. Remember that the only thing that stops you from doing amazing things is yourself. In a world where love is literally the most advanced medical technology, the only thing that stops you is yourself. You can subscribe to Stories from Beyond if this story made you believe in what is possible. It's like a promise to yourself that you will find the divine mysteries and cosmic truths that link us all. Take this revelation and share it. You never know who is out there feeling lost or hoping for a sign of hope. Your share could give them the comfort they need and helps us grow this group of spiritual seekers, one heart at a time.